Hi there, it's Father Barry, Day to Day with St. Joseph, a two-parter. We're going to do September 1st, September 2nd, Wednesday and Thursday together. Well, we're celebrating on September 1st the placing of a St. Joseph statue in our Riderwood Chapel. We only had a Our Lady image there. We didn't have a Joseph, and we just added it today. So that's exciting. And in our church, we also have now moved the St. Joseph statue and the Our Lady and Child statue together in the cove. And so we now have our permanent home for the St. Joseph statue in the main church and also close to Our Lady. So it's great. It's just a great thing that we have Joseph added to our worship spaces. Here are the statues now placed in church. Well, I'm a happy guy that we have raised the money through you parishioners and got the pedestals made. You can see those wooden pedestals we just showed you were made by woodworkers out of Rockville, a guy named Steve, carpenter there, woodcutter. So they made those, custom made them for us, like the former one we had from Mary. Now we have two of them that are brand new, really nice. And we have a nice cove for these devotions. And many months ago, I told you about the story of us ordering this statue from a woodcutter in Italy in the Alps, and how they really turned a wood of a tree into this statue and then painted it there and then shipped it to us. And so it's nice that it's there. We now have a Joseph presence in the church and also over at Riderwood Chapel. It's great. Now I'm going to show you something I wrote back in January. I threw out a wish or a hope for the Joseph year for our parish. And I'd like to go back and read it to you, all right? I wrote this: the placement of Mary and Joseph statues inside a church. What has been the Catholic tradition? I read my own words. It has been the tradition to have both Mary and Joseph statues in the church. They usually are balanced, one on one side of the altar, the other on the other side. Often they are wall statues, though for most centuries they were standing marble statues in places that could afford such marble statues. Mary is typically on the left in light of the fact that placed there she is on Jesus' right hand from his point of view, from the point of view of someone looking out from the sanctuary. And Joseph is balanced on the other side. Often Jesus then is in the middle on the crucifix by the altar, or sometimes a Last Supper scene under the altar, or even a resurrection sign. Now, again, I read this out of a January Resurrection Parish Bulletin many months ago. I continue at Resurrection from the altar presently, writing on January 31st. We have Mary in a special place on the north and right side in our church, but Joseph is not present at this time. He ought to be given a place. I think that the way our church is laid out, a matching warm and colorful 4.5-foot Joseph statue could accompany Mary and the child Jesus in their niche. One issue, it is an expensive statue. Another issue, it'll have to match the one of Mary. Third issue, we're trying to use our funds right now to pay salaries, bills, the Archdiocese of Washington, community support. Maybe there is a Joseph devotee out there who wants to see him come in this holy year. Well, I got an answer, got a yes to that. I mentioned earlier that I was instructed earlier on about Joseph and statues when at St. Joseph's Parish in New York. When I moved to a parish in Maryland in the 4th grade, the Church of Bowie had it correct. Mary was to my left coming in and right from the priest's view, and Joseph was to the right. I knew we were in a Catholic church, even though it was a multi-purpose room back then at St. Pius. So my memories of St. Joseph, though, as a kid at St. Joseph's Parish, saw him all the time. I looked it up today as to why that arrangement was always done. Joseph and Mary, until some modernists have removed statues from churches. Why did tradition have Joseph on the right side from the parishioner's viewpoint? This is in accordance with the Jewish tradition of having the Queen Mother sit at the right hand of the king. So from the altar point of view, looking out to the church, that would be to the right. From your view, it's to the left. If you're sitting, you look over to the left. An example in Scripture of the Queen Mother sitting at the right hand of the king is in 1 Kings. Bathsheba went to King Solomon to speak to him on behalf of Adonijah. And the king rose to meet her and bowed down to her, and then he sat on his throne and had a seat brought for the king's mother, and she sat on his right. 1 Kings 2, verse 19. Yep, see, I found it. Saint and Pope Pius X confirms this tradition in Ad Diem Illuminum Latissimium by declaring, Mary sitteth at the right hand of her Son. A whole different explanation is that there's the gospel side where it's proclaimed in the liturgy, in the sacred liturgy, and that it would be good to have Mary, the new Eve, part of the evangelization with Christ to the world, that she would be close by or on that side. And so that's an explanation of Mary on that side. But what about Joseph too? Rather than putting him way over there and keeping Mary and him apart, why shouldn't they be together, right? And our Mary's holding the Christ, so why shouldn't Joseph be near her? But he's also a key figure in the evangelization, the good news. And so he's near the gospel, on the gospel side. Of course, in our church too, it's where the tabernacle is. And so people can make a devotion there in the tabernacle area and also the Mary and Joseph and the Christ child area. Anyway, that's what our tape was about today. It was about our statues and their placement and my happiness that people donated and came through with a big deal in the St. Joseph year. As I get started on this double tape today, just thankful for, the year of St. Joseph being at this parish, being at Resurrection, and being with the people in this church. And all the people are still kind of cut off and at home. We'll still be trying to stay in faith with them. Some people that can get out and at least pray at our Eucharistic window, they do come here. And on a lovely summer evening, just think of what it's like to be here. It's a good quiet neighborhood for the most part. Sometimes we have little disturbances, but for the most part, pretty quiet here under the bell tower of Resurrection. And just the little front entrance of our parish. Just a little show of being out here today.